The line now is Curro Chief Executive Chris van Merwe to discuss allegations of racial segregation at one of Curro's schools in Pretoria. Dr. van Merwe, thanks for making time to speak to us today. Not many people are happy to have heard of the news regarding this racial segregation. Can you substantiate the reasons why this was done?
Good evening, and also to the viewers, good evening. Let's start this conversation, Gugu, with the facts. There's clearly a misunderstanding in the market the moment that you use the word segregation. This isn't a separate white class versus a separate black class. The facts are as follows. So at grade R level, these are now the kids 5 to 6 years old, we only had 6 white English children on day one. We then put them into one of 3 classes, and in their class there was about 12 to 15 other black children. So that specific class was fully integrated. But the other 2 classes was black kids only. So the best we could do here is to split the classes 2 to 2, meaning to actually allocate 2 white children per class. We didn't do that because when the children are so young, you must make them feel secure, and we thought that as a first step, we would put 6 children into one class. So that specific class is actually very well integrated. Then also to the viewers, Gugu, what we must remember is we only count our final number of enrollments on the 10th day. So this was the situation in the first week of school. As we are speaking now, we picked up another 6 white children, and as a matter of fact, we reallocated them to the other classes. So we have 18 kids more or less in each class, and more or less 3 to 6 white children in the other classes. So clearly a misunderstanding in the market. It's not separate white, separate black.
Just on the way that you mentioned that obviously the psyche of these children was to group them in this particular manner, what kind of evidence is there psychologically that these children need to be secure or feel secure by being exposed to people of the same race?
No, it's not a question of race. Look, this specific school is situated next to a couple of estates, and this specific 6 children was also friends. So normally, we know that by your 10th day, you will have a solid group to redistribute, to make it, to integrate further. But this was a question of these children were also friends, and it was the logical thing to do on day one. Now, our regional head, Mr. Pollard, will address the parents this evening and explain this by showing them the class lists. And when you see the class lists of the whole school, you will clearly see, according to the evidence, that the whole school and the 36,000 children in Curro is actually well integrated.
Is this something that you use or a method that you deploy in any of your other schools?
It all depends about, about the kind of child. So in many of the other schools that started with a bigger critical mass, you can actually mix the children, much more effectively on day one. So the moment you only have 1 or 2 children of the same race versus about 40, 50, you rather group them together until you have about 10 to 12, and then you start, reallocating. Now, in almost all the cases, we had a situation where on the 10th day, which is more or less now, it's actually perfect best practice where you have a fully integrated series of classes.
Chris, I think some parents might be upset by this, given the fact that there was an initial parental engagement on this matter when this decision was taken. Is that the norm?
I want to reiterate it, Gugu, that with 6 white children in one class and about 12 to 15 black kids in that very same class, one must accept the fact that that one class is actually perfectly integrated. So, unfortunately, it is a bad situation that we even have to defend this because, as you know, Curro stands for best practice. Our promise to all the folks in South Africa is that Curro will continue presenting them with schools that's affordable, and of the 42 campuses, I can state this, that all 42 campuses, according to me, are perfectly integrated. Surely you have isolated cases here and there, which is handled on pedagogical merit.
That was Chris van der Merwe, the Chief Executive of